are you working your ass off at the gym and your arms are still not growing? Do you want to increase the size of your arms? What should you do and how do you structure your training? Well, all these questions, let me guide you through my workout, and all these questions will be answered. So this is a high volume arm training, and as you know, biceps and triceps are small muscle groups, so they require a lot of volume, well, at least for me, to grow. And I tried a lot of things for arms, and my arms are, how to say, stubborn muscle group. Be honest. There is a Dave Palumbo is advocating if a particular muscle group is not growing, then train it less frequently. I tried his advice. Well, it wasn't working. Well, there was another guy, Ronnie Coleman, was talking about everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, lightweight, baby. Well, it was another one. Dorian Yates is pushing with the low volume heavy weights and 6 to 12 reps in the range. Well, of course, the guy is Mr. Olympia, but he tore his biceps in 1994 and triceps in 1997. That ended his career as a competitive bodybuilder. And also, I'm not in my 20s or 30s anymore. So, I don't want to get hurt, and instead I tried Jay Cutler's approach. He's also Mr. Olympia, over 50 and still in great shape. Look at Dave, Ronnie and Dorian. And take a look at Jay. I'm also looking at the longevity and how to get stronger and more muscular after 50 whilst not get injured. Of course I can lift heavier weights, but it's not about how much you bench do anyway. So I finished the biceps on an incline bench and I moved on to biceps cable curl on a low row machine. Have you seen that before? I tried this exercise. You'll hit your biceps from the different angles and spice up the training with doing something new. I'm trying to keep my back firmly on the pad below me. However, a little tilt forward would be okay as long as the bag is not rounded. I had to bend my knees to adjust to the length of the cable because it can go only so far on this machine. Focusing on slow execution and going more or less full range of motion, pain-free. Don't let the weight hang on your joints because you will lose tension in the biceps. So in a centric part, in the bottom position, keep your arms slightly bent. And I'm holding handles quite close to each other as this is a natural path for the cable on this machine. And this way I am hitting long head of the biceps more. Well, next exercise is a classic, is an old school classic one. There is an old saying flying around the gyms and it states that more curls, more girls. I'm not sure if this will lead to more girls, but there must be something about biceps curls with the bar. Primary muscles worked are biceps brachii, both the long head or outer bicep and short head or inner bicep are activated. If you use easy bar instead of the stride bar, then you will hit also brachioradialis. That is a forearm muscle that flexes the elbow, particularly when the forearm is in a neutral position, such as holding a hammer or water bottle. Aiming here for a full range of motion, letting the weight go as low as flexibility allows for a maximum stretch, and then driving the bar up for a squeeze at the top of the movement. You can go for a set to failure with a little cheating allowed, but not from the first rep. Don't do cheating from the first rep. And the last exercise for a biceps was an isolation exercise, so I went on metric machine. I would call it a preacher curl. This was the exercise that Arnold was saying it's great for a peak of the biceps. So if you want your biceps to have peaks like Alp mountains, then preacher curl is an answer. Well, if you take Arnold seriously, of course. I'm doing it unilaterally today, but in other training, I go with both hands at the same time. Those little modifications can sometimes break the plateau. Finding the right seat height, so when you sit, your whole upper arm rests on the pad. I have seen some lifters would sit too high and are touching the pad only with elbows. and are subsequently moving forearm and upper arm, where upper arm should stay still. Anyway, aiming for 12 to 15 reps. You can even spice it up with going to the failure on the last set to finish biceps and get a pump. If you want to be able to get a pump, then salt would definitely help. You can add a couple of grains of salt into your intra-workout drink, or just into the water if you don't use intra-workout. It's important to have mind-muscle connection, so you focus your mind on the bicep and really going for the maximum stretch at the bottom and squeeze at the top. This is the last exercise in this isolation. So to finish the biceps off and let those biceps grow. Yeah, this was the last exercise for the biceps today. I'm not able to lift a very heavy weight on this machine. This is the last exercise, but I'm focusing on the slow execution of the exercise, and I don't let just the weight drop down, but I'm controlling the weight on the way down. Finishing biceps, moving on to triceps, and after biceps I went to do triceps and started with seated dips. Of course, I did warm-up sets for triceps, only 2 sets, as joints were semi-ready from biceps work. I warmed up to push blood to the muscles and prepare them for work. Remember, with the warm-up, you decrease risk of injury significantly. However, it is time-consuming. Seated dips primarily target the triceps, specifically lateral and medial heads. Secondary muscles involved are lower pectoralis major and anterior deltoid. Just for your attention, if you keep your torso upright, this will maximize triceps involvement, while leaning forward increases chest activation. So the same exercise, but you can, by adjusting your torso, you can hit different muscles. I'm keeping my elbows tucked in and they point right behind me, and focusing here on the deep stretch at the bottom of the movement. However, if you go too deep, then you'll put excessive stress on your shoulder joints. Another mistake I have seen is to fully lock in elbows at the top of the movement, which removes tension from the triceps and will tax the joints. Don't bounce on the seat to complete the rep. Rely only on the tricep strength. This exercise is a great builder of the mass. You have to feel that you pushing down with the triceps, not with the chest. So keep your torso as straight as possible. And we went after I finished with seated dips, I moved on to the classic triceps cable pushdowns. Yes, this exercise will hit the tricep, especially lateral head, if done correctly. And I'm using the back support, so I'm making sure that my body is still. Some lifters, I noticed, are using too much weight, and by using momentum, they are turning this isolation exercise into a compound movement. Also watch your elbows. Allowing the elbows to move forward, backward, or flare out to the sides shifts tension away from the triceps and onto the shoulders and lats. It's important to control the eccentric part of the movement by focusing on a slow, controlled release of the weight rather than letting it snap back up. As you know, tricep makes the bulk of the arm, and this exercise is good without feeling any pains, as it does not irritate the elbow joints so much. So almost everybody can do this exercise. And by using rope, you can adjust the position of your wrists and do it as comfortable as possible, because many lifters have problems with the elbow joints, the pain, like tendonitis. It's very important to warm up the elbow joint as much as possible to release the synovial fluid so the elbow can work in the optimal conditions. Okay, so we did the push down and we did the dips. Now it's time to focus on the long head of the triceps, which is the biggest head of the triceps. The medial, you see, so the medial and lateral heads are attached to the humerus in the origin, and long head is attached to scapula in the origin. So hence the bent over position and resulting overhead or high elbow angle stretches the long head more, leading to greater muscle engagement, particularly when the arms are behind the head. So I'm intentionally lifting arms as much as possible, because with this movement, as you know, the long head is attached to the scapula. So this movement, you stretch the triceps. And since I started to do this exercise modified, so I'm moving my upper arm as well to get this stretch, pain in elbows are gone. I don't understand why. I don't know, maybe I was doing this wrong before, or I had some impingement. So yeah, sometimes if you feel pain somewhere, it doesn't mean that the pain originate in the point. It can originate somewhere else and can manifestate there. But yeah, so this would be very good exercise for the long head of the tricep. And the last, see, the triceps head have 3 heads, and working a muscle group is not complete without doing at least one unilateral exercise. So I went for unilateral underhand pushdown. This is time to hit medial and lateral heads of the triceps. By doing this unilaterally, you will ensure that both hands are involved equally. So if you have triceps bigger on your right hand, then start with your hand that has smaller triceps. It means with the left hand. And do exactly the same amount of work for both hands, so that imbalance in muscle size will level up eventually. Well, anyway, I'm trying to keep my elbows pinned to my side throughout the movement. Mind muscle connection can be useful, so you actually feel the triceps do the work. And if you want, you can go for a burn by doing more reps, if you can, without breaking the form. This exercise I saw doing Chris Bumstead when it was a training video with Hani Rambot. Yeah, so he pointed out that the medial heads on the triceps are very often underdeveloped, so this is a great isolation exercise for it. So, you know, medial head is the smallest one of them all. So okay guys, this was all for today. I shall see you in the next video. I'm now transitioning slowly into the off season, so I'll start bulking season after I did my blood tests. So I will see how ready I am, and of course I will do some videos to describe what I'm doing, and and how much muscle I can still put even in the age of 50. Let's see.